Hi, Voices of the Bench community. I'm Laura Prosser, the digital marketing manager here for Ivoclar North America, and I would like to invite you to start following us on Instagram. It's your chance to obtain exclusive updates on product announcements, industry news, upcoming educational events, and heartwarming stories about our local team and industry professionals. So let's get social together. Simply start following us on Instagram at ivoclar.na. That's Instagram at ivoclar.na. We'll see you there.
Welcome to Voices from the Bench, a dental laboratory podcast. Send us an email at info@voicesfromthebench.com and follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Greetings and welcome to episode 367 of Voices from the Bench. My name is Elvis.
My name's Barbara Still.
What?
Yes.
What's happening, Barbara Still? How are you?
Well, you know, you and I, we traveled to Germany. Crazy trip.
4,000.
Yeah.
4,000 miles.
Yeah. So
nobody's counting, but 4,000 miles.
So this is the Sunday after, and I actually am just starting to feel normal. So I'm good.
What a trip. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Crazy.
Unbelievable. I know we talked a little bit about it last week, but we're still in the thick of it.
Yep.
Now that we're back, what has it been, a week? About?
Yeah. Every day I was a zombie, literally. Literally.
You got hit with that time zone difference a little harder than I did.
Mm-hmm.
Was it hard coming back, or?
I came back. I stayed up the whole plane ride, and that next day, I woke up at 6:30 and cleaned out every closet in my house, threw out all kinds of It was like I was on some sort of adrenaline kick. I got so much done. I felt amazing. And then the next day was Monday, and I thought I might just die.
You should have used some of that energy at work.
No. Yeah, but you know what? I feel better. It was a wonderful trip. Super opportunity.
Yeah.
Thank you, ExoCat. I can't thank them
Absolutely.
enough. So no complaints from this girl.
Yeah, so I'm starting to go through all the recordings
They were
slowly.
so good.
Not in a huge hurry, but I'm going through them. But you know what struck me is how many different countries we talked to.
Go through them. It's crazy.
I haven't even gone through all of them, and already, I mean, of course, Germany. Of course, we're in Germany.
Yep.
People from the U.S., Canada, UK. Okay, those are expected.
Yeah.
But then we talked to Egypt, Iraq, Ireland, Scotland, Colombia.
Poland.
It's just nuts.
Yeah.
Poland, yes.
Jeez.
It's so interesting that so many countries come to Germany for this meeting. I mean, I thought Chicago was popular, but wow.
Yeah.
Can't wait to get all these things out. But it's going to be a while. Everybody hold off.
They were the best conversations ever. Honestly, there was 25 of them, and I was just so into it, and I know you were, and
Yeah.
I just feel like we just kicked ass. And so did everybody.
We did
that
a great
talked to.
job.
Yep.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone that came and saw us and sat down with us and chatted with us. And I'm surprised my voice held up the whole time.
It did, though.
I was really shocked, yeah.
So this week, what's happening?
We're bringing 3 more conversations that I got while at the Ivoclar Grand Ballroom at LMT Lab Day Chicago 2025.
Isn't that crazy? We're talking about Chicago still, and we just got back from Germany.
Yeah.
Jeez.
It's a crazy ride.
Yeah.
But you know what's funny is after going to IDS and having so many people saying that they would love to go to Lab Day Chicago, it's crazy to think that our show in Chicago is someone's dream, just like it was our dream to go to IDS.
Yeah, that is actually.
Is that crazy?
Yes. Wow.
Chicago to me is a 3-hour drive, but it's someone's dream.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But anywho, one of the guilty pleasures we have of doing the podcast is meeting people that we only knew online. And this is the case as we get to know Christopher Hernandez. I know him as CH Denture King on Instagram, but luckily at the show I learned all about him going to dental technician school in Mexico, finding his way to a sleep apnea device lab, and ending up at his current role doing all on X's at ClearChoice.
Wow. Then we have an old guest who comes back on to update us on a pretty exciting company that he started. Greg Everett has a knack of getting things working again. He saw a need for a reliable resource to keep the Roland Mills running even longer. That's pretty smart. He started Denteon, great name, where they can completely rebuild any Roland mill to factory newness. And the great part is that he has the full support of Roland, which is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So if you or anybody you know has a Roland mill in your lab, and most everybody does, you will want to check out this conversation.
I'm sure Knight's got
Oh yeah, we've
quite
got
a
it
few
as
Roland Mills.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nuts. Every lab I go to, and I mentioned this in this conversation, there's always more than one Roland Mill. Every lab.
Yep.
It's crazy. And then we wrap up the episode with a conversation about keeping your Ivoclar mills running with Ivoclar's own Joe Braxton. Joe talks about his start into automotive, finding his way into a milling center, and then installing, training, and servicing all the program mills, and of course, Barb and the fan favorites, PM7. And then he also talks about Ivoclar's new milling center for their current customers.
Yep, I heard about that too. That's awesome.
So join us as we chat with Christopher Hernandez, Greg Everett, and Joe Braxton.
Are you a dental lab in need of more talent to improve your bottom line and keep production on schedule? Are you a dental tech with great skills but feel you're being limited at your current lab? Well, the answer is here. Hi, I'm Mark from Win-Win Go, and this is precisely why Win-Win Go was created. The dental lab and dental tech community needed a place where labs and technicians can meet, talk about their needs, and connect in ways that foster a win-win outcome. As a tech, if you're ready to make a change, thinking about moving in the next year, or just curious what's out there, sign up today. It's totally free. As a lab, you might be feeling the frustration of paying the big employment sites so much and getting so few tech candidates. We understand. They don't much care about our industry. WinWinGo.com is simply the best place for lab techs and lab owners to actively engage in creating their ideal future. WinWinGo.com. How dental techs find paradise.
Voices from the bench. The interview.
I'm like, I've known her for 3 years. I was like,
Yeah.
I'll just take a picture, send it to her.
That's
And
nice.
she's like, dude, thank you, because I didn't take any pictures.
I'm
when
terrible at it. Every year I think to myself, I want to buy like a photo thing. I could hit a button and take a picture from over
Yeah,
there.
I get it.
My social media sucks at that guy because I don't even think about it.
Yeah.
And even now I don't even want to do it.
You don't need it. Honestly, dude. I mean, your guys' podcast is well recognized around the industry. It's like,
You don't need to suck up. You're on. Stop. So this is awesome. This is a good guy that I mean, you say you're friends, but you're more just like social media friends. But Christopher Hernandez?
yeah.
I got it. Sweet. I mean, whatever you're doing on social media, and I'm a big fan of people just going outside the box. Have fun, dude.
Yeah, that's what it's all about.
Have fun. I love your craziness, middle of the day. I'm gonna just start rambling and just like you're recording your thoughts and sharing it with the rest of us.
All the time, man. There's a lot of things that are going in my head that I used to not speak up.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, it's like, well, why not?
Yeah, you hit that age. You're like,
Yeah.
Whatever.
I
People
started
call
getting
you Chris or Christopher?
Chris.
Chris. All right, Chris.
Chris.
So give me the story. How did you get into this mess?
It's been crazy, dude. I mean, my uncle's a dentist down in Mexico.
Oh, okay.
He's my godfather.
Okay.
And basically always took me in the clinic and showed me what he did.
Were you raised in Mexico?
Yeah, for the most part.
Okay. Were you born in Mexico?
No, I was born
Okay.
in the U.S. I was born in California.
Okay.
Things with just how cheap it is to live over there and everything. Parents took me when I was like 3-4 years old.
Yep.
Grew up there. And then moved to the California back because of how long the border lines were and all that. But I never had really of a background in dental. I
Yep.
wanted to do criminology.
Criminology.
Yeah. And then it got
Because
so
you like
pu-
CSI.
I do.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, dude, we're all weird. We
Yeah.
we like all those
Hey, yeah.
forensic files and stuff like that.
Sure.
And I still watch all of that, but
Of course.
it got to the point that it got too political for me, and I thought about becoming a dentist down in because I could have gotten the full scholarship down in UABC, which is the university in Baja California, down in Mexico and on the border state.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, I had such
You had a full run.
I
to go
could have
there.
gotten it because I'm born in the U.S. and they wanted to get more foreign exchange students.
Oh, interesting.
So they wanted to get into that market.
And
my mom ruined that for me.
What?
I love my mom.
Okay.
She's great.
You've
She's
put a lot on her.
Yeah, she's a great supporter in me and doing what I've been doing. I mean, she funded a lot of it when I was younger. But she was that patient with dentists that it was like, this crown doesn't look right. This crown does this. And I was like, I would go to her appointments. I'm sitting there. I could hear her complain. I'm like, I don't want to be on that receiving end. I was like, and then I talked to my uncle. My uncle's been doing this for 30 years.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, why don't you go to the school down to where I went to, down in Tijuana? I was like, well, okay, well, what's it called? And I'm going to name drop them real quick. I'm sure they're not even listening to this, but it's Instituto Dental Americano. So basically, it's a 2-year program down in Tijuana, Mexico. They're certified by kind of like a technical school.
Okay.
Like the same things that you do over here.
Yeah.
And went down there, did it for 2 years, and, man, I fell in love with it.
It was just dental technology.
Just straight up dental.
So there is a lab school in Tijuana?
Yeah.
Are there a lot of lab schools in Mexico?
I know of 3. 3, and they're spread out around the country. But, again, a lot of the techs down there are people that just random people that apply, and they basically what we do here in the U.S. Like just
nobody really knows. And
you just get trained up, they fall in love with it, and they go deeper.
Yeah.
But
it was a 2-year school.
2-year school.
Yep.
And they show everything.
Yeah. Fixed, removable, ortho, implants. I mean, all that.
Implants was integrated a year before I started.
So it's still kind of new.
It was still kind of new. It was a second class.
What year?
2015.
So digital, probably not at school.
No digital. So everything that I came up with was all analog.
Yeah.
And techniques that you're talking, people that were doing that are retiring now.
Sure, yeah.
So it's literally like you see me doing it, and it's like, how do you know how to do that?
Yeah.
So it's kind of I'm appreciative because of that.
Yeah.
Because I can still follow into those old techniques and be able to
the fundamentals, man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's so crazy how life just takes you in different directions. Yeah. It was like I went to that school, didn't think anything of it, fell in love with the industry.
Yeah.
I started following. The first person that I followed in this industry was one of them was Janelle.
Yeah.
The other person, Mackenzie,
sure.
And it was like
who's supposed to be here today, and I haven't seen her.
Oh well, she'll show up.
Yeah, I
hope. With her owning her own lab, I'm sure she's busy.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, it was.
Those were one of the first 2 I started following.
Yeah, and when I first came to Lab Day 3 years ago, just seeing
your first Lab Day
was 3 years ago. I came out here, dude, and I was just starstruck, and it was amazing. I started talking to him, so down to earth.
Yeah.
And
good
it's
people.
like,
all
yes, everybody. And that's what I tell people when new techs that are like, I want to go to Lab Day, do it.
Yeah.
He's like, you're going to be starstruck the first year. Go to the second year, and you're going to see that all these people are so down to earth, and they're willing to share what they know.
Yeah.
And that's basically what I try to do now with new people that getting into the labs or new people that follow me on Instagram. I'm like, look, I'm always going to try to help you guys. If I can't answer a question, I'll direct you to somebody that I know will help you.
There's a lot of people with a lot of answers.
And it's crazy how nowadays the industry's changed so much. I know a lot of the old school techs that showed me how to do this were mean. And they were just like, didn't want to share their technique.
There's a defining line between the old techs not sharing. Yeah. Everyone talks about no one used to share. Now everybody overshares.
Yeah, and it's still good. I mean, I appreciate all of them because whatever little things I was able to pick out of them, I still use nowadays.
Yeah.
And the training that I got from them molded me to what I am today.
100%, yeah.
So you got to take it with a grain of salt of what you were able to do with all that. But it's just been very grateful in the industry. I mean, meeting you online and just chit-chatting back and forth on you guys' posts and memes.
That's all it's what it's about,
You got me on that Sunday course.
Yeah. I got a lot of people on that.
But, yeah, I did 10 years a week ago doing this.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so you graduate in Tijuana.
Graduated in 2017.
You're not in Tijuana anymore.
No.
What happened?
Family moved me out to St. Louis.
St. Louis,
Missouri.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I graduated in 2017. I got offered a job as a sleep apnea tech down in La Mesa, California for Apex Dental Sleep Lab.
Oh, wow.
Great company.
How the hell they find you?
One of their techs, their manager, went to school where I went to school.
Oh.
And he was shopping at Costco or Sam's or something like that. Saw a professor, and he goes, "Hey, do you know anybody that can work in the U.S. that's willing to like come aboard?" And like, well, I only know one guy.
Nice.
Name dropped me, and it worked perfect.
Awesome. So you did sleep devices
I did
for
sleep
a while.
apnea for 6 years.
Oh, wow. That's a lot of experience.
Yeah, I did sleep apnea for Apex. They taught me everything that I knew from sleep apnea. And obviously living in California can get a bit expensive.
Sure.
We had the opportunity at the time with my wife to move out to St. Louis with her family. And I got hired by Dynaflex, which is
Okay.
another good company
Yeah.
for orthodontics and sleep apnea.
Really?
They're based out of Lake St. Louis.
Okay.
Did work with them for 4 years. Became supervisor there.
You really know your sleep apnea devices, don't you?
I love it, dude.
Do you really?
I actually do enjoy it.
I don't know
a
much
lot.
about it.
It's a different monster.
It is. It's scary to me because you're like protrusion jaws and
Yeah.
you're dealing with people's like mental health and
Yeah,
sleep
and essentially, Leia from Star Wars,
yeah.
she passed away from sleep apnea.
Shut up.
Yeah, they relate it. A lot of people pass away from sleep apnea, but they relate it to a heart disease because essentially
Interesting.
it goes hand in hand.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's the silent killer, believe it or not.
Carrie Fisher. Let's
Carrie
talk.
Fisher.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, Carrie Fisher.
Yeah,
but
I
yeah,
did not know that.
It's insane, and that's why. I mean, you see a lot of people with CPAPs and stuff like that.
Sure.
But a lot of people get claustrophobic with having the machine just
Yeah.
stuck in your face.
Plus, if you don't need it, why you go through all that?
exactly.
And I think insurance is different between the two
Yeah.
devices, and I mean we could get into all that.
Yeah,
but,
you can talk about it for days.
I mean,
honestly.
you did all those analog though, right?
Analog, and we were I believe Dynaflex started integrating a lot of the digital,
Yeah.
and they were milling a lot of their sleep apnea appliances, and till this day they still do that. They're still one of the top competitors in doing
Yeah.
that. But yeah, I just felt like I ran my course there. In school they always told me to focus on Crown and Bridge.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, this is where the money's at. This is where the money's at.
Yeah.
And I
That's
just
so not true.
Didn't like it.
Yeah.
I always fell in love with removables, and they were like, you're not gonna make any money doing dentures. I'm like, it's what I like to do.
How could somebody say that?
I mean, you're talking 8 years ago.
Yeah, I
9
guess
years
8
ago?
years ago, maybe.
So
yeah.
it's crazy how it's all turned around.
So where'd you go after the sleep apnea place?
So from Dynaflex, I applied at Summit
Oh, yeah.
Dental
Summit
Labs,
Dental
and
Lab,
then
yeah.
they turned into Summit Horizon.
Yep.
I worked there for 2 years, and then I told them when I got hired, I was like, I haven't done dentures since I was in school. Like, don't worry, kid. Like, we'll
Kid.
yeah, we'll go ahead and see how you do, and we'll work with you and show you a little bit here. And little by little, I mean, it got to the point that at one point, I was running that removable department.
Yeah.
And then it was good. It was great.
Just doing dentures.
Just doing dentures, partials, flexibles.
Were you doing everything from
start
beginning
to
to
finish?
end?
Yeah.
Yeah.
From start to finish.
Nice.
And then very grateful for Summit because they were the ones that were like, hey, you should do a social media page.
Really?
Yeah.
They were encouraging you of it.
The operations manager, Amy Sykes.
I know her. Yeah.
She's the one that's like, you should do a social media page. You're funny. You're
Yeah.
up there. Do it.
That's great.
I was like, okay, well, what's going to be my name? And she's like, oh, come up with something. I'm like, what about Denture Poppy? She goes, no, we don't want to call you Poppy.
Poppy.
Yeah.
Is that like a
like Daddy?
Daddy? Yeah, that's what I thought.
Denture
Okay,
Daddy.
yeah, you don't want to go there.
Yeah,
That's a
no,
little
she
weird.
goes, no, let's not do it. It was just like, what about King? I was like, look, Denture King? She's like, yeah, Denture King. And stuck.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
I don't, you follow people and you just kind of forget
Yeah.
what they're called. Yeah.
Yeah, and that it stuck. And I was like, okay.
So when did that started? How long ago?
2022.
2022. So not that long ago.
Not that long ago.
And what, you just initially just started posting work?
Just posted the work that I was doing there. Started name dropping like Kozer.
Yeah.
A majority of the products that we use there were Kozer.
Yeah.
Modern Materials and stuff like that.
Yeah, they do some good removable
Yeah,
things. Their teeth
TCS.
are nice.
Yeah, they are. TCS was another one that I
Oh,
was
you did
using.
flexibles too.
I did flexibles.
Do you
Dude, I
like
got-
doing flexibles?
Yes and no.
Yeah.
I mean, it's TCS is a great product.
It is, yeah.
It's just so hands-on,
It's
and it's hard to finish.
technique sensitive.
Yes, it's so technique sensitive that you have to be able to have the time to do it.
yeah.
It got to the point that we had a lot of offices that were asking for flexibles, and it got to the point that I was flasking 3 at a time. I remember some of the techs that were there was like, there's no way that that's going to come out.
Are you not supposed to flash 3 at a time?
It's not recommended.
Okay.
It's not recommended because when you do even 2 at a time, that depending on how you sprue your flask, it may not sprue correctly.
Yeah.
So you may get a miss shot.
So instead of misshotting just one, you're misshotting
Two.
three. Or two
Or
or three.
three,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, I see what you're saying.
So
yeah.
I mean, I got to the point that I got pretty. Sorry to say, you could mute it. I know we talked about it. You get pretty ballsy in doing this, and it's kind of like, okay, well, we'll figure out the way. I messaged my uncle that's been doing it for 30 years. Like, hey, how do you think I can do it? How should I do it?
Yeah.
He goes, keep the flask warm, keep
Yeah.
it hot,
Yeah, yeah.
and then shoot it. Sure
Never
enough,
have a place where it gets cold.
exactly.
That kind of makes sense.
Yeah, every time came out.
So are
good.
you still there at that lab?
No, I parted ways back in last year in around July, end of July. And then I got a pretty sweet deal working for Clear Choice.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is that where you're at now?
That's where I'm at right now.
Yeah,
and
talk about that. I mean.
It's kind of interesting because I've never really done all on X's.
Yeah.
So I got offered a manager role with them out in their new location in Illinois.
They hired a tech that's never done all on X as a manager.
They like the experience, and essentially I'm like, the years of experience were there, and they have a training facility. They're like, we'll train you.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
Yeah,
I mean, I can do everything else.
Yeah.
It's like, what's one more technique in there?
To me, this might be controversial, but I think it's easier.
It is. I kid you not.
I mean, it's like you got some implants in there. You hit those. You don't have to worry about borders.
No. And the thing is, when I went to train down in Colorado, I was a bit nervous. I mean, I get nervous. I get anxious. I was gagging in the hotel.
Yeah.
I was very nervous because it's something that I've never done. And I got trained by William Lawson, a great guy, very patient. And he's like, don't worry, like, we'll show you how to do this. Sure enough, dude, I was like, holy crap, like, this is really easy. I'm like, wow, I didn't think it was going to be this easy. And sure enough, we did the training. We did it kind of like, I can't say it's old school because it's still a technique that's being used today, but it was more of a more complete analog version of it.
Yeah.
Him and Scott Adams came up with that technique.
Yeah.
And he came over with us, talked to me and the other guy that was training there, and very friendly guy. It was a good experience, really good experience. Very grateful with this company.
Yeah.
And once I got into my center working for a prosthodontist, which again I have never done in the past before, so it was a different monster.
Yeah, man, they're picky.
Yes. So it's kind of like you go from working with general dentists, 10, 15 dentists that you would have, now working with somebody that has done lab work, has done the time in the bench as well.
If Barbara's here, she'd go, oh, prosthodont.
I mean, man, they're good to pick their brains. They're very smart people.
They're very smart, but they're hard to work for.
They're hard to work for at times.
For reasons that are good.
Yes.
But still.
Yeah, because it's again, like, they did the time in the bench.
Yeah.
So they're like, okay, like, I wouldn't say challenge. It's just a different set of opinions.
Sure.
So at the end of the day, he's the doctor.
Yeah.
So you're going to do what he wants to do.
Absolutely.
You'll give your 2 cents. If he doesn't want to do it, that's okay.
Fine, yeah.
We'll do what you want to do.
So talk about what you do at Clear Choice. I mean.
So right now, I do chairside, quote-unquote chairside conversions.
Yeah. Patient comes in, you get the records, you make dentures?
Yeah, so patient comes in for prosthodontist exam.
Yep.
They'll take impressions or scans.
Yep.
They'll go ahead and do the treatment plan. Once he gets that done, patient agrees with it.
Yep.
If they have to do extractions, they'll do extractions. If the patient's a dentulist, then they'll go ahead and do bite rims to see if everything was good.
So you do make dentures for everybody first?
No.
Okay.
So, well, yes and no. So essentially what we'll do is they'll take those impressions and we'll go ahead straight to designing their surgery teeth.
Okay.
So once they do those surgery teeth, they go ahead and then they do the surgery. They do extractions. They do the 4 implants for the all-on-X.
Yep.
We have surgery teeth ready to go, and we'll load those. We use Sprint Ray, and we use Sprint Ray's Onyx.
Yeah.
Onyx tough too.
Onyx. Yeah.
And
good stuff.
Very good stuff.
How are you scanning the placement of the implants? How are you getting those records? Are they doing photogrammetry?
No, they're doing NeoConvert. So it's kind of similar to the smart denture conversions.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, well, essentially, prosthodontist is doing majority of the work in this case.
So you're picking it up?
Doctor's picking it up chairside.
And then you're grinding it
I'm
out?
grinding them in and making them look pretty.
Really?
So that's why I say, I'm like, wow, I feel like I've been doing a lot more work in removables along the way. And I thought this was going to be like, oh, my God, this is like all on fours.
Yeah,
This is going to be tough. And I was like, oh, wow, this is actually pretty simple.
easy. How fast can you do a conversion?
45 minutes.
45 minutes. I love it how you had that number, just like boom.
The reason why, and I'll tell you why. This is a pretty funny story. So they give us around an hour and 15 minutes to do a double conversion.
Yeah.
I was talking to my GM. I'm like, man, I wish I could have a TV in my lab. Like, I'd like to like play music or like be just something playing in the background.
Yeah.
And we're trying to see how efficient we can become. So we're timing and see where we can do better and all that. And he looks at me and goes, you do a double conversion in 45 minutes. I'll put a TV on there. I'm like, are you sure? He goes, you got to do it consistently. I'm like, okay. Sure enough.
So 45 minutes is a double.
It's a double.
Oh, you kick my butt.
And it was like, okay. And again, I'm relying a lot on the doctor to make a good pickup. Sometimes if it's not a good pickup, I'll take an hour.
You don't get in there to help with the pickup or anything?
No.
That's all Doc. He just shows up with this thing.
Yeah, the assistant comes in. It's all ready to go. He goes, all right, it's been disinfected. Laid it there, disinfect for another 10 minutes. Yeah. And then as soon as those 10 minutes are up, I'm like, hey, I just started working on the teeth. You can start timing me.
Nice.
Yeah, been very grateful with the experience. I'm loving it.
How many do you do? Do you do a lot?
Since it's a new location, we have one surgery day a week.
Okay.
So it just depends on what type we're doing with the patients. We'll do crowns at times. Was essentially they do a lot of implanted crowns. So I don't get to touch those because we outsource.
So if you only do surgery for one day a week, what do you do the rest of the time?
Just set up everything else.
Oh.
So we do take the prosthodontist exam patients, and we get everything ready. The only thing is, since our oral surgeon's only available once a week, then we're like, okay, well, let's schedule a double convert. Like this patient's having a double conversion, and then we have a single conversion. So we'll schedule those.
Both patients one day. That's a busy day for you.
Yeah. So we're there. I think we start when surgery day, they have to be there at 5.
In the morning?
In the morning to get everything prepped. Patient comes in at 6:30, preps them, and they start like around 6:45, 7 a.m.
You know, even if I needed that service and someone told me I had to be there at 5 a.m., it'd probably talk me out of it.
Well, not the patient. Patient's not having to be there.
Oh, okay,
No. Patient walks in at 6:45, 6:30.
Okay, that's a little bit better.
Yeah.
5 a.m. Sir.
All of us, we have to get there at that time to get everything ready.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, it's a nice experience. Very nice. My location is trying to integrate photogrammetry.
Yep.
So we're trying to see the best efficient. We're looking at financing too to see if it's going to be worth it for us. And I mean, with it being clear choice and how many all-on-X's we were cranking out, it may look like
so
it's
that
a great
that
way.
point you'll be designing it and then printing that temporary. Have you done those?
Not yet.
No. Can you design?
I can design.
Okay. Yeah. You didn't talk about where you learned designing.
I learned at Summit.
Okay.
So it was kind of weird positioning because I wanted to learn how to do design. Mm-hmm. We came to Lab Day. We bought printers. We bought the Sega printers. And I wanted to learn design. Amy wanted me to learn how to design. And it was such a hassle because a lot of doctors do not want to roll over to digital. Some of old doctors are.
Yeah, you're always going to have that handful.
Yeah. So it's like we still had to do a lot of analog work. And then I still needed to put time aside to train for it.
Yeah.
And I just wasn't able to.
It's hard. Yeah.
It's hard to.
When you got
make
other
time.
work to do.
Exactly. Yeah. Or if I started designing something and 3-shape would crash or something like that, or I did something wrong.
Yeah.
I'm trying to troubleshoot it. I look up, it's 3 hours past, and now everything else is pushed back.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, like I have to prioritize this.
Sure. It's always hard to.
Yeah.
Learn
And then they hired Mandy
Arena
last year.
Yeah.
A little past Lab Day. She went in and she started teaching us a little bit more about designing in 3-shape.
Nice.
So she took control of that and started showing us how to design little by little. I got to the point that it got too busy for both of us, me on the analog and my other techs in the analog and her in the digital room, that we were just like, Amy and everybody came a point where we're like, hey, we just need your help in just doing design work.
Yeah.
She ended up doing the design work.
Nice.
So it was good. It was a good hand in hand. I'm very grateful to be able to learn a little bit more about her.
Yeah.
I mean, I've met her here in Lab Day. She works in St. Louis. I didn't really get to work with her much.
Sure.
I worked with her for around 8 months or so and got to pick her brain a good amount, and it was nice.
Nice, yeah. That's all what we do. I mean, we just pick each other's brains.
Exactly.
That's so good.
Yeah, it was great. And from there, it just, I got that really good offer from Clear Choice, and I was just like, I couldn't pass it.
I have not really heard bad things from the technicians I know working at Clear Choice. I know they kind of have like a stigma about them, they just pump them out and they do, whatever.
Yeah.
But you learn so much, and you get to do it so often.
Yeah, it just depends also on your prost.
Sure.
I mean, my prost, I love him. He's a good guy.
Stops to teach.
Yeah, stops to
That's
teach.
the important
Or
thing.
if I hit there's a difficult case and I'm on a roadblock, he'll jump in and like, what's going on? He's like, okay, well, let's try this or let's do this.
Nice.
And then it will help me out, and very grateful.
Yeah.
He does not like 3-shape, I'll tell you that. He does not like it. He's like, I want an Exocat. I was like, will you buy it for me?
Yeah, I was going to say. Does he have to use 3-shape with that company, or is it up to him?
For now, I think it's mainly 3-shape. I think they're going to be rolling out Exocat.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, but for the most part, for the meantime, it is 3-shape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, awesome, Chris.
Yeah.
What a great story, man. I had no
idea.
idea.
I appreciate it, man. And again, I mean, there's a lot of techs that don't know a lot of people actually that don't know what they want to do. They end up stumbling into this career, and
that's how I fell into it accidentally. So.
Yeah, you just fall into it, and you fall in love with it.
Yeah.
And it just grows.
I couldn't imagine doing anything else.
Look at you doing a podcast.
I work at it all day, and then at night I deal with this. So it never ends. It never
ends, man.
Awesome, man. So Denture King on Instagram.
Denture King on
Go follow him.
CH Denture King.
CH Denture King.
Yeah.
Nice. Love it, man.
I appreciate
Good to see
it,
you.
man.
Have a good one.
Thank you, you too.
And you've got like one of the best spots in the whole place right
It's
here.
not bad. Yeah, I can eyeball everybody. And
yeah, that's awesome, man.
Yeah. We welcome back to the podcast. Man, this has been a weekend of reunions almost. We've had a lot of past guests come back, some of them in different roles, some of them in the same roles. But thanks for sitting down. Lab Day Chicago 2025. Of course, in Ivoclar's booth. Thank you so much, Ivoclar.
Yeah.
Greg Everett, how are you, sir?
I'm doing awesome.
Yeah.
It's going awesome. How's it been with you?
Yeah, it's been a great show.
Yeah.
So you stopped me in the hall not yesterday? Days run together.
Yeah, down in the tunnels.
It was the tunnels. I run into so many people in the tunnels. It's so weird.
Yeah.
You're doing something interesting that it's kind of exciting. So what are you up to these days?
Yeah, well, last time I was on the podcast, it was I was at Sierra.
The burs,
the high-end, high-performance tooling.
We learned so much about burs on that episode.
Yeah,
more than I probably needed to know. But anywho,
that's kind of my MO. I'll tend to overshare on the tech stuff.
Yeah,
so
that's all good.
Shut me down if I get too
I
crazy.
love the nerdy talk, man.
So smash forward a few years, and I started my own company.
Nice.
Out of Southern California.
Okay.
And taking a specialty in Roland machines.
Yep.
And so there's an awful lot of labs out there with Roland machines.
There's a lot of Rolands out there.
Yeah, and oftentimes the difficulty is they've been out of warranty for a while, and it gets harder and harder to get service for older technology.
Mm-hmm.
And as a lab owner, you want to keep things running and keep your investment producing for you.
Hey man, the longer that thing runs, the more ROI you get out of it.
Oh man, I have heard the word ROI like 90 times this weekend. It's one of those buzzwords. Yeah. So I mean, you're talking about ROI, and it's always generally best to keep something running instead of replacing it. And so. I identified that as a niche, and we've specialized in creating a repeatable process where we take in machines and rebuild them with all new parts and ship them back to the lab, and we put them back into production.
All right, so let's just break it down easy.
Yeah.
Someone's got a Roland mill. They've had it for 8 years. Mm-hmm. Obviously, the warranty's out.
Yep.
And if someone pays for an extended warranty, that's probably even still out.
Yeah,
I don't know how the warranties work.
You can max it out to 5. So
5,
yeah.
We all want these things to last longer than 5 years, right?
Absolutely.
After those 5 years, why am I not going back to Roland to do this rebrand? Do they even do that, or would they just try to sell me a new one?
I think it's sell you a new one.
Yeah.
There's definitely merit to that idea.
Sure.
Because there's always updates to technology, and they're constantly coming out with the new hotness.
Yep.
But my background is in the lab, and I spent 10 years working as a technician, and I understand that perspective. Mm-hmm. And it is always cool to have new shiny stuff.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, we need that machine just to make us a part that we can sell.
Yep.
And, maximize the effectiveness of the dollars we're putting into our capital investment. And so for a lot of labs, a rebuild is actually a better opportunity. Mm-hmm. And especially if you've already got the equipment, it's already depreciated, and for a fraction of the cost, you can get another life cycle out of it. It's pretty crazy. So this is, by the way, I got to thank you for the opportunity to come sit here.
Because, absolutely, yeah.
It's a small business, and
I wanted to hear about it as soon as you sought me in the hall.
Yeah. And so far, completely just grown organic, word of mouth.
Yeah.
Because lab people talk. And,
sure.
And we're offering a good service, and people tend to be pretty happy with it. So yeah, there's always the opportunity to buy new stuff. I mean, you just walk around the show. There's so much.
Well, that's all they want to do.
New shiny stuff that you can buy.
Yeah, I try not even to look them in the eye because they'll try to sell me something. But I mean, do people send you mills that don't work, or do they send you mills that it's getting a little old, and let's see if we can?
So
all I know about is a spindle.
Yeah.
Maybe a few other parts, but that must be the big thing that people replace. I mean,
yeah. Well, one of the awesome things about Roland's is that you can replace the spindle yourself.
See, I've heard that.
Yeah. And so other equipment, you got to have a field guy come out, and it's a $6,000 expense.
Yeah, and half the things on the floor just to change the most changeable part.
It's a bit scary. To answer your question, it doesn't matter. It can be literally a paperweight, and we can bring it back to life. We've brought machines that were in a lab's basement or closet for 2 years back to life and put them back into production.
That weren't used.
They had just stopped working, or they were making terrible lines or breaking units, or just so much breakage because they were worn or broken in some way. That the lab was like, we paid money for this. We're not throwing it away. So it just gets stuck in the boneyard in the basement.
And you do mostly Rolands, only Rolands?
My philosophy is to be really good at one thing.
Yeah.
And so we have fully committed to Roland.
Okay. All their models and makes?
Everything. If it's got a Roland placard on it, we can fix it.
Nice.
And that ranges all the way down to the super early, DWX 50s.
Yeah.
Which, believe it or not, some of those are still running, and they're like 12, 13 years old.
Yeah.
So we do service those all the way up to new flagship stuff, warranty work.
Where do you get the parts from, Roland? Or?
So Roland and my company Denteon, which
you should probably
if I was a good promoter, I should say the name of my company.
Denteon, Denteon.
You got it.
Nice.
Yeah. And Denteon.com if you want to check it out.
Perfect.
And which, by the way, that name means nothing. It's not a real word.
Well, yeah.
I was able to get all my social in a URL, and
it was available.
We're attributing meaning to the word.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Make the word mean something.
Yeah. So the only way that you can really start a business like this is to have a solid relationship with the OEM.
Yeah.
And so we're very, very friendly with Roland.
They totally support this?
Yeah, absolutely.
I love that.
Yeah. And which, by the way, kudos for them as a company.
Yeah, because you would think they'd be like, no, I want to sell new ones.
Yeah,
let them die. Let them die.
Right. Well, of course, I think that's probably true, but they understand that it's important to support their loyal customers.
Yeah.
And really, you walk into a lab that, we got our first Roland, and then we bought another one.
Yeah. There's never one Roland.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Have you ever? It's pretty rare to walk into one with just one. And so there's an ecosystem that's there. And they've done a great job of designing that. It's kind of iPhone-esque, because it's the brand of machine that you can buy and know that it works.
Plug and play, and it works.
Yeah. I would challenge other machines to deliver on unboxing it and milling a unit within an hour.
Oh,
and you can do that. That is not a joke. There's no exaggeration there.
Yeah,
you can plug it in, calibrate it, throw a disc in it, and some tools, and start running.
Yeah, but you can replace everything that's in it.
Yeah.
Excuse me, I know nothing about this stuff, but the motherboard goes out, the power supply, the fans, the air, the water with those wet mills.
Everything is serviceable.
Right.
Yeah. Again, I'll give kudos again to Roland because they've got a very robust service infrastructure that's back end that the end user doesn't see this stuff, but the dealers do. And so it's kind of like a car mechanic. If I'm working on a Ford, I can log in and look at the exploded views of the engine and be like, you know what, this is the part that I want.
Yeah.
Grab the part number, and I can order it directly from them. as a dealer, and it'll ship, and we keep inventory of all the common stuff,
of the big stuff.
Yeah, and sometimes it'll be something obscure, and we'll have to work with them to source it. But we've never had an issue sourcing a part.
Have you ever had a mill unfixable?
No, there have been some that have been close.
Really?
Yeah. But I take it as a personal challenge.
Yeah, I bet.
And we actually haven't found a mill yet that beat us.
Oh.
Yeah.
I challenge all of our listeners out there.
Yeah, okay. If there's anybody out there who's got a broken Roland mill that is unfixable, send it to us.
There you go. You think you'll be able to get it going?
Yeah, well, there's a...
How do you figure out why it doesn't work if it doesn't work?
So we start
in layman's
with,
terms.
So I'll try to keep it layman. So the most common thing that happens is a customer will find our website or most times it's a referral, it's word of mouth.
Yeah.
And they're like, hey, we were getting milling lines, or it's chipping all the margins, or what have you.
I tried calibrating it.
Yeah, we tried calibrating it. We've done everything we can. It's still just misbehaving, right?
Yeah.
And so we'll start with, getting a serial number. We'll look up service history, and we can actually remote in and see, like, the status of the machine and what errors it might have.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Roland allows you to do that. That's
cool.
Yeah.
And in fact, if you read your terms of service when you install the software, which nobody does.
No, nobody does.
There's your dealer can see the errors in the state. Like all the dealers have that access.
Nice.
And so we'll start with kind of doing a bit of a troubleshooting process and understand what the current state of the machine is. Mm-hmm. And at this point, we've seen so many. We have over 600 closed tickets.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You've had 600 mills come to you?
So closed ticket, what I mean is it ranges from somebody calling in and we help them remotely. Oh. That ticket's closed.
Oh, like
two.
Have you tried plugging it in? That's a
ticket.
Well,
that's well, usually they don't call us with that one, but it does happen.
Yeah.
And so on one end of the spectrum, it's that, and then on the other end of the spectrum, we'll do a full rebuild process, every screw, part, bolt. Rebuild wise, there's been a lot.
I bet
it's been enough to sustain a company.
Do you do most of the rebuild?
Luckily now, because the problem with any business, and lab owners certainly understand this, is finding good help.
Yeah.
And so I've been very lucky in finding two guys that are now my full-time employees.
Yeah.
And so it's the three of us, and we specialize in depot work. So
what does that mean?
Meaning that we're gonna much prefer to have the machine here in our shop in a controlled environment to going out on site.
So you don't go out to fix things.
We do, but
it's expensive.
We try to do everything we can to not do that.
Yeah.
Because it is expensive. Air travel is ridiculous.
Yeah. It's a mess.
Anybody at the show understands that.
Yeah.
Let's try to do it remote, and then if it isn't your only mill, it makes economic sense to ship it.
Yeah.
Then the next question is hey, do you have the box?
That's what I was just about to ask.
Yeah.
Those mills come in some hefty shipping containers.
Yeah.
And if you don't keep them,
you
ain't going to be able to go find that box at Home Depot or something.
So that's probably the biggest barrier for what we're doing in a lab.
Do you ship them an empty box?
No. We're creative. We're scrappy. About 70% of machine owners did not keep the box.
No.
Yeah.
Who's got the space?
Although, man, if you buy a piece of equipment, you should figure out how to keep the box.
Yeah. But a lot of labs are in some small areas, and I get it.
Yep. Oh, yeah. I've worked on a machine, literally on the floor in a coat closet.
Really?
Yeah. It ranges for sure. And so Uline is an amazing company.
Yep.
And so you can buy a fully enclosed wooden crate that will fit the machine in it.
Yeah.
They're a couple $100.
Well, that's it?
Yep,
Yeah.
Not too bad. And what you get is an empty wood box.
Yeah.
So then you have to figure out how to hold the machine in the box.
Yeah.
And so where we came in is we developed
packing peanuts.
Oh no. No, you want to be very careful. It has to be super secure, right?
Yeah.
And so we developed a UPS shippable kit. And so what we'll do is I'll either drop ship it or I'll give them the Uline part number. They can order it themselves. We're not making any money on the box.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
That's not the point. Yeah.
And then we'll UPS you the kit. And that's going to allow you to set that crate up to hold the machine.
Nice.
And it ships secure, and we've shipped dozens of machines and no issues. And then we've got a video that we show. Here's how you do it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's daunting. I remember having to ship a piece of equipment back. I don't even remember what it was, but it was huge. And it was awkward.
Yep.
And it sat there for weeks because I didn't know how to do it.
Yeah. And that's one of when you think about like sales processes, that's one of the bigger like humps to get through.
Yeah, sure.
And so early on, had to come up with a way to fix that because you can't. One slight annoyance is if you did want that original Roland box, it's comprised of like 50 different SKUs for every little piece of cardboard and tape. It's a different SKU.
So you couldn't really order the original box?
You could, but it'll take you all afternoon to find all the SKUs, and then half of them will potentially be back ordered. And it's like, that's
just a box, man.
It's just a box, but it's kind of like you got to keep the box.
Yeah. Well, there's your one piece of advice. Keep the box.
Yeah. Oh, I'm full of advice. And so, we get a machine in and do our magic.
Yeah. How long does it usually take you to rebuild a?
So our turn time is 10 business days.
10 business days.
Yeah. And so, and then depending on where you are in the country, you can expect anywhere from 3 to 5 days per leg on the freight.
Okay.
So, your realistic expectation is 3 to 4 weeks.
Okay.
On a turn. So it's not an emergency service.
You're not going to have it back to me within an hour the next day so I can keep working?
Unlikely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get it.
Labs that are local to us in Southern California, we do have, loaner equipment that we can
nice.
swap out and stuff. But the economics don't work for shipping that across the country.
I get it.
And doing it like that. But it's a fun time. And, at the end of the day, my entire philosophy is like, how can I help as many labs as possible?
Yeah.
And doing it through the Roland, Roland ecosystem is a great way to do it because so many people have them.
Yeah.
And been a pleasure over the last few years to build a service that people are reacting well to.
What about cosmetically? Like the outside of a Roland mill. I mean, those break? Do you fix?
They do.
I mean,
yeah.
Can you like revamp it so it looks brand new?
Yeah.
I mean, could you even go that far?
Yeah. All those parts are available.
It's so nuts to me that everything is you could just order.
So oftentimes, and not often, but we've seen some machines probably over the last couple of years, maybe half a dozen or so, that took significant damage in shipping.
Oh yeah.
And so like the door will be broken, or there was one that a forklift actually impaled the front of the box. And it went through the front of the machine and just shattered the whole door and everything.
You fix it?
Yeah. And so, that's like, we have our body shop over here in the corner.
Yeah.
And so we can replace panels and doors and then the other cool thing on the aesthetic side, which I haven't had very many people take me up on this, but we have the ability to print a skin for the front of the machine.
You can wrap it?
Yes. Yeah,
so you can put like a lab logo on it or something?
We put a lab logo. We did one that's full wood grain.
Nice.
Yeah, and it's even, it's precision cut. Ironically, it's done on a Roland machine.
Yeah, because they're printer. They're ink printers.
A lot of lab guys don't know that Roland's got other business units. One of them is large format print.
Sure.
And, the wrap thing is a big thing, and early on, I got my hands on one of those machines.
That would be cool just to do it.
Oh, yeah. You put your logo on it. I've been wanting to get somebody to let me do a flame job.
That would be nice. Rod. Yeah. There's so many things you could do, though.
Oh, yeah. Sky's the limit if you have the graphics from your marketing files and stuff. We can build that.
Why would somebody not? Well, I guess it is.
Well, there's a cost, right?
But it's not really necessary, but it's just fun.
Yeah. It's there's all kinds of fun stuff like that you can mess around with. If I had a lab, I think it'd be really sweet to have them all lined up perfectly in a row.
They all go into each other like I don't know, Marvel characters or something.
Yeah. There's a lab I was in not too long ago that named all their Rolands after the Transformers.
Nice.
And so you had like Megatron and Bumblebee.
See, they need the logo of them.
Yeah.
I would go 80s cartoon version, not the movie, but
each
their own. But
I think I'd probably be with you on that.
Yeah. So you don't have to talk about price, but what you showed me in that hallway was it's just like one price gets it in there, gets it done.
Yeah.
Is there any pricing structure? Like if it's not as bad as you thought when you opened it up, or how does that work?
So there's two ways that it can go. We can go repair route.
Yep.
Or we can go full rebuild route.
Okay.
And so the full rebuild, we've flat rated it because we already know what needs to be replaced. We've done a significant amount of them. And so we try to simplify that offering. And then the repair route, a lot of times it doesn't need a full rebuild. You bring your car to the mechanic, it might need a valve job or something, but it doesn't need a full engine and transmission.
Yeah.
Right? And so we that's the majority of customers we serve, honestly.
Sure.
Is, hey, it's making lines. All right, let's figure out why. And then, okay, we found a component that's failed or failing intermittently or what have you.
Yeah.
And more and more these days, because lab owners are scrappy too.
Yeah. Okay.
And they're willing to turn screwdrivers. And so one of the things we do a lot of is we'll figure out what the problem is remotely.
Yep.
Ship you the parts and the tools that you need, and then set up a time and do FaceTime or Google Meet or Zoom or whatever. And take apart a machine on our side while you're doing yours in parallel and show you step by step how to put the part in.
Oh, that's huge.
Yeah.
Now you're less downtime, less shipping, all that.
Yeah, yeah. And there's some common repairs that we're doing more and more of on
that.
And we've had success doing like pretty insane deep surgery with some of these things.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
You got to have a good person on the other end. I strip every screw that I touch, so.
Well, that's always a discussion point. Is okay, let's not strip any screws, let's not cut any wires. If we can get away with that, then it's good.
I'm the one that's hitting it if it won't come out. You know what I mean? Just like
and all issues are addressable. You can fix and get around any sort of problem.
I love it. And most rebuilds fix most repairs.
So the rebuild will fix everything and anything.
So that if you just went at it with all your mills with that, you get brand new mills almost.
Yeah. And part of the process, we have a milling center service that we. It's not well known. We don't do a lot of it, but we do it as a help our customers sort of thing.
So when they're fixing the mill, you're doing their work.
They can. It's an option.
Yeah.
It's an option. Small percentage of labs take advantage of it. But we've got mills running units, most of the day.
Wow.
And so as part of our rebuild service, that completed mill goes into our milling room.
To test.
And it spends a day in there or more. And we make sure it mills good units before we ship it to them.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing worse than you rebuild it and they try one, works good, ship it back, and then
Yeah.
2 hours later, it's not working.
A significant portion of the time we have it there is testing it to make sure it's good for you.
Nice.
Yeah, because, you can throw a part at something and, like, were you right or were you not right?
Yeah.
And the proof is in, hey, can it make a good unit?
Yeah. And you'll know because you're pumping out for other labs.
Exactly. So, we're not going to put 1 billion miles on your machine.
No.
It's only in there for a little while. It's a necessary part of the process.
Interesting. I love it.
Yeah.
Greg, Denteon.
Denteon.
Denteon.com.
Yeah, man.
Got a Roland Mill. Check it out.
Hey, yeah.
I love it. Thanks,
appreciate
Greg.
you letting me come sit down.
Yeah, that's some cool stuff. I don't think anyone else is doing this. I love it.
Yeah, great. Well, hey, thanks, and can't wait to listen to the next episode.
Have a great day at the show.
All right.
Thanks, man. Here we are at the Ivoclar Ballroom, Lab Day Chicago 2025. I'm sitting with Joe Braxton from Ivoclar. How are you, sir?
Oh, I'm doing great today. How about yourself?
Doing good. You're still cheerful because we're early on in Lab Day. I imagine by tomorrow afternoon you might not be so cheerful.
We'll see. That is when the pain starts coming in on the feet and everything. Yeah.
Your knees start feeling your age. So what do you do at Ivoclar?
Currently, I'm the field manager for field repairs and installation for North America. Yeah.
So what, you travel the whole country and install and repair?
Well, I have a team that does most of the traveling because they're all regionally located, but every once in a while I fill in as well. So
so how'd you get into this? How did you learn how to fix a mill?
Oh, man. I was a machinist by trade.
Okay.
Yeah. So I've been with Ivoclar for going on 13 years or just over 13 years. Yeah. I worked in the automotive industry prior to coming into this industry.
Fixing cars and stuff?
Well, more so at manufacturing plants.
Oh, so fabricating cars.
Yeah.
Yeah, which car company?
Chrysler.
Oh, no kidding.
One.
Yeah.
That's pretty much was my background, and then I kind of just fell into the dental side of it. And
but
it
how?
was
Did you like answer an ad or something? Or did they seek you out? Or how does one go from cars to teeth mills?
Well, all right. So it was going into the coming out of the recession. So a lot of the automotive industry was laying people off.
Oh yeah.
And my brother, he was also in the automotive industry. So he ends up finding this job at a place called Denteon, which is a milling center company, and this was in Detroit, Michigan, or Troy.
Oh, is that
Michigan.
where you guys are from?
Yes.
Oh, well, makes sense. Cars, yeah.
Well, basically, he told me about this magical place where everything was so clean and all of this, and I'm like, no,
smaller.
Yeah, I'm like, no way. Long story short, he gets me in there.
A milling center.
Yeah.
And what are they milling at this time? Just like zirconia?
Emax block zirconia.
Okay.
Yeah. I thought it was the coolest thing ever.
So what'd you do there? Just load mills?
Cammed. I started as a cammer and then or CAD cam, loaded mills. Then I became a trainer, and
oh wow.
Then I managed.
You picked up on it pretty good then.
Yeah. Then I became technical support.
Did you overexceed your brother? That got
he
you
left.
The job? Oh.
That was the other thing. Yeah, he left and moved to New Jersey. Him and his wife and kids for a job at 3Shape.
Oh, no kidding. Wow.
Yeah.
Man, this place must have really spawned some good people. That's insane.
It made some changes for sure. And then, long story short with that one, to come back full circle, he actually came back to Ivoclar, and he works for me now as one of my FECs.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. So you're working at the milling center, and I'm sure you're dealing with all these mills and the issues that come up.
Yep. So I kind of learned how to fix them just by having to.
Yeah. So how did you position yourself to go to Ivoclar?
Ivoclar acquired Denteon.
Oh.
So it kind of just
Why did they acquire it? Are they a milling center? Do they mill?
No, but it was more of we were used as for backup warranty milling for customers who did have machines.
So if they buy a mill, it goes down.
Yeah.
You guys handled that work for them.
Yeah.
Do they still do that?
We do. It's a little different now, but yes. Yeah,
okay.
we do it.
Is it not out of Detroit anymore?
Well, no, we have our own milling center in Amherst now. Recently opened just this new year.
Oh, no kidding. Yeah, I was going to say, I was there last year, and I didn't see any sort of milling center.
Yep. Just this new year, we have
Are you running that? Or?
I am not.
Why not? It sounds like you know what to do.
I helped get everything set up, but no, I am not running it.
Yeah.
I have enough on my plate as it is.
So what is your role now? You have teams out there. Someone says, hey, my PM7's doing something weird.
Yep. So if there's an issue, as soon as the machines has been diagnosed to be a problem, we have a 5-day what we call a KPI to get somebody out there.
What's KPI? You don't know what it means? That's funny. That's hilarious. I love a good acronym.
I do. I just can't think of it off the top of my head. But it's basically a lead time target.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So you got 5 days to get out there and fix the thing?
To get it out there and fix them. And we have 11 guys across North America.
11 people.
Yep.
And do you train all these people how to fix things?
Yes. We bring them in for training.
How long is that training?
It's usually 2 weeks, especially for onboarding a new employee.
Everything?
Yeah.
I mean, do you have like a room with just like everything that Ivoclar makes in pieces?
It looks like that. A graveyard is what we call it. But yeah.
That's insanely cool.
But you also got to understand they don't just learn how to fix the machines, because these guys also install equipment and then they train the customer on how to use the mills and things of that nature too. So it's a very special niche type person that we look for this job. But
so somebody buys equipment, one of these 11 will show up to install it?
Yep.
And then it's like, how long is that process to train an office on it?
It's usually 2 to 3 days just for user training on how to use it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great that somebody comes out and trains everyone. You don't just ship it and say good luck.
Oh, no, you can't. Not with this equipment. Not that it's difficult to use, but it does require some training, and we love to stress the maintenance, because that's going to keep your mill running longer. So.
I mean, you're supposed to keep it clean? What? Do you ever go out there and see some mills that pretty neglected?
Yeah, there's a few. There's always going to be a few. Yeah.
Can't believe people drop that money and then just kind of let it go down the hill.
I know, it's like buying an Aston Martin and never changing the oil. Like that.
What's the most common thing that you run into?
With issues with the mills,
or any of your equipment? I mean, you don't just do mills. I just keep bringing up mills as an example, but you guys have all sorts of equipment, printers and all that. Or
fortunately for me, I've been able to focus just on our mills. So
well, there's the most moving parts, so I imagine that's going to have the most issues, just by nature of what it does.
Yeah, absolutely. Anything with moving parts is going to go down. It's not necessary. I would never point it towards the mill itself per se.
Yeah.
It's just moving parts, wear and tear over time. Things need to be replaced.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
We run into those type of situations a lot.
With the spindle?
Yeah, spindles.
Yeah. I know a few words that are in a mill.
Spindles, water pumps, things like that.
Which one is the hardest to fix? Is there one that's like got so much going in? Like those multi-disc changers have to be just a whole other level of.
Well, the good thing is that thing doesn't really break.
Really? That's funny to me.
I'd say we've only had to replace 2 of them, and it weighs half a ton.
Oh, wow, yeah.
But they don't really go bad. It's more so like sensors or things, simple things like that.
Yeah.
The mills also are very modular, so it's not so difficult to repair.
Yeah.
Most parts.
Yeah.
I would say the most difficult would be the B-axis assembly or the B-axis harmonic drive.
Oh.
That's a day and a half to 2-day repair.
Just because it's so deep inside the machine, it's connected to a lot of things.
And then has to be hard calibrated back into place. So there's a lot that goes into that.
And you do that on site?
Absolutely. All the program mill repairs are on site.
Really?
Yes. PM
so
dry.
Nobody ships anything back to Ivoclar to fix?
Not in no program mills, no. Technical side are furnaces and things like that get shipped in.
Okay. Do you work on those?
No, I do not.
You're just mills?
Just mills. We already have way too many products. I just want to focus on one.
The PM7, is that the most common mill you guys sell?
Yeah, I would say so. I believe right now in North America we have over 560 of them out in the field.
Yeah. I mean, they're great mills. I mean, Barb, my co-host, who's not here this weekend, she loves that thing.
Yeah, well, they're workhorses, and again, with like any type of piece of equipment, if you treat it right, it'll treat you right.
Yeah, that's some true words right there. If they do iVotion on it, does that cause any different wear?
So not necessarily different. It does. The resistance on the spindle is a little more when you're milling
iVotion. It's a harder material.
Yeah, but same thing for. I mean, that would go for even Emax, and that's for any mill. Not just a program mill.
Yeah. Do people try to get you to come in to fix their other mills?
No.
Hey, since you're here.
No, I mean, I have been asked something similar to that, but no, it's not a regular thing. But with the program mills, again, there's always going to be harder material. So, to answer your question, iVotion can be a little harder on the mill. So can Emax. But that being said, that's where all mills have those same issues. Where we kind of step aside or bring ourselves apart from that is with our customer care and our service and the fact that we are there to repair this mill within 5 days. So if your mill goes down, we also have the backup milling center as an option where customer can pay to get you want to continue your mill while we're waiting on us while your mill is down, then you have this option. We'll get it to a 2-day turnaround.
Really?
Yeah. So
pretty much anything that.
Any of our materials. Yeah. But this is only for our customers that actually have
that makes
program
sense.
mills.
You don't want to open it up.
Absolutely.
You don't want to be a milling center again.
No.
You just want to help.
Yeah.
If anyone has a mill, even if they bought it previously, has this service available?
Anyone that has it, it's not even tied into the service contracts. You can call in. If your mill goes down, you can use the milling center. It's just a nominal fee, but it's a lesser fee than anywhere else that you would get.
You're paying for the material.
Yeah,
and what, you just shoot the files over?
Yep, we have a web portal and everything, so there's a link that'll get sent to them. They go to our website, and they input all the information.
You doing any designs for them?
No designs.
Come on, man. What else? You going to stain them when they're done?
No.
I want it back finished and ready to go.
No. We wouldn't go that far. Center zirconia, send that back.
Yeah.
And other than that.
So you center it?
We'll center the
Oh, no kidding.
zirconia.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow, you do go above what you need to do. Because, I mean, even though my mill's down, the centering oven's still probably working, but still.
And we feel like to help the customer save time, if you get it back already centered, that's, that's a courtesy. Yeah.
Plus, it's easier to ship.
Yeah.
Safer.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Joe, thanks so much, man.
Hey, my pleasure.
That's some interesting stuff. What are you doing here in Chicago? If you're not fixing anything. people aren't bringing their broken mills to you.
So we're here for support. Obviously, we set up the equipment that we do bring. So me and my team are field equipment
How hard
consultants.
is it to ship this stuff to Chicago Lab Day?
We've done it for so many years that now it's just not. It doesn't even. It's second nature.
Imagine how you get stuff here with all this other stuff and it not get mixed up, but.
Yeah, no, and we have, and now that's our coordinating team, our show team that coordinates all the shipping and handling, and they do a fantastic job.
And you just
set
it up, and then you just hang around and answer questions.
Set it up, support it, and then yes, we support the sales team in regards to the knowledge, maybe some questions, things that they're not familiar with.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool, man.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. I learned a lot, mostly just about what happens if it goes down, because I'd love to say that things don't go down. I'm sure you guys would love to say none of our stuff goes down, but in truth, it does.
Yeah, it always will.
The important part is what happens when it does.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's where customer care
Yeah.
comes into play.
Yeah, you want to give out your personal cell phone number on the podcast so people can just text you at 3 a.m.?
I don't think I'll do that, but we do have a website and everything can be found on the customer care, Ivoclar's customer care website.
Cool.
So, yeah.
Joe, thank you so much, man.
Hey, it's a pleasure.
I appreciate you. Have a good show.
Thank you. Bye.
A big thanks to everybody that sat down with Elvis. I so miss that Lab Day. So sad. In the Ivoclar Ballroom at Lab Day Chicago. And of course, we love hearing the stories of people in our industry. And Chris definitely has one that we have not heard before. So go follow him on Instagram. It's a lot of fun. What is it again, Elvis?
CH_Denture_King.
You know how I am with the underscore, so check them out. And who doesn't love a great, reliable resource in business? It makes sense to me that if you even have a rolling mill, that you get to know Greg, and definitely check out Denteon.com. It's no secret, guys, that I love the PM7s from Ivoclar, and I love Ivoclar. Mm-hmm. And it's great to hear that they have behind-the-scene people like Joe to make sure everything keeps running smoothly. So let's hope, well, I do say this honestly, let's hope I don't need him anytime soon, because I got a lot of work. Thank you, guys.
All right, everybody, that's all we got for you. We'll talk to you next week.
Yeah.
Bye.
I know you're recording this, you fuck.
Of course I am. You know what I do is I rub shampoo on my face. That's what I do.
Yeah, well.
The views and opinions expressed on the Voices from the Bench podcast are those of the guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the host or Voices from the Bench, LLC.